11, garbage. 10, get out of here. Vista, sure. 8, never happened. 2000, ME, absolutely not.
Hello and welcome to This Is Windows 11 is Dead. Long live Windows 11. Windows 12 is right around the corner, and I'm going to say it's here because Microsoft has been doing some wibbly wobbly things that makes it, why would anyone go to 11 at this point?
The rumor currently is that Windows 12 is in active development and is on schedule to come out 3 years after Windows 11, which, because it came out in 2021, means that 2024 would be the targeted date for the brand new up-to-date version of Windows named 12.
Even worse.
To make them what? It's impossible. How
Windows
can it be
10
worse?
is going to lose all support by 2025.
Are you trying to tell me that Microsoft would be so nefarious to create Windows 11 and then make Windows 12 come out by the time that you can't use Windows 10 anymore with updates, therefore forgetting that Windows 11 ever existed? They would be so nefarious.
I feel like a lot of people are just going to skip Windows 11 entirely.
Like they skipped 8?
Yeah, well, 8 was really bad. I just feel like because the adoption rate for 11 has been growing.
Can I hit you with some numbers? As of June 2022, Windows 11 adoption rate is at 23.1%.
Which, I'll be honest, that's about
very high. So for context, 23.1 is Windows 11. Windows 8 had 13%. Vista had 14%. So it's actually in the ballpark of what I would consider to be a healthier version of Windows.
But like, how much of that is, again, people buying
It's got to be new systems
versus how many people are upgrading? Because I feel like that upgrade number has got to be really low.
I agree.
We're in a period of time where people are buying computers at like an exponential rate as they were.
It's starting to slow down now, actually.
It is.
2020 and 2021 were some of the most popular years for the PC ever. In 2022, much to the chagrin of all the people who make PCs, is looking a little light.
When everyone in the world has a one-year-old PC, then it's harder to sell PCs.
Windows 10 was a very different version of Windows, right? I think generally speaking, most people like it. Obviously, in our tier list episode, a lot of people are like, Windows 10 is S tier, which I don't think we quite agreed with, but Windows 10 was solid. And one of the reasons why it was good was because they stopped doing that sort of normal 3-year cycle of a new version of Windows. And instead, they wanted to make Windows 10 kind of quote unquote the last version of Windows.
Microsoft said they wanted Windows 10 to be the last Windows. It wasn't.
If Windows 12 does indeed come out in 2024, there's 1 year between that and when Windows 10 loses support. So you got to imagine that there haven't really been any new features for Windows 10. There's probably like some new NVIDIA and AMD graphics cards that have shiny new ray tracing features or whatever that only work on Windows 11 or Windows 12 or whatnot. Windows 10 is going to start really showing its age then. And if people who have been kind of on the fence have a brand new Windows 12 to update to, which hopefully is not garbage town and terrible, you can see why that would be a really compelling sort of upgrade.
Yeah, and I'm on the fence with a lot of this because on the one side, I'm like, okay, let's face it, the people who are going to be upgrading to Windows 10 at the last minute, I would say the vast majority are going to be the people who have no idea that there's even a different type of Windows. They don't know that Windows 10 and Windows 11 are two different things.
You know what, though? There's no one left on Earth who doesn't know the difference between Windows 10 and 11 because they've seen the nonstop pop-ups on their system for the last 2 years about
I think you are vastly overestimating.
You need Windows 11. Press me. Literally, it'll happen in the background. Windows 11. Windows 11.
I think the majority of people who would be waiting to the last minute is going to be people who just don't care. If, the shiny ray tracing is only available for Windows 11,
the gamers,
which most of our viewers are, I would put themselves into a category of gamer.
Are you going to insinuate that This Is audience is not a bold, diverse, eclectic mix of highly talented and incredibly attractive individuals who have all caressed that subscribe button and gently rang-a-lang the dang-a-lang button?
I'm letting the gamers rise up. And you're trying to get the gamers to compromise right now?
I'm just not calling them gamers.
Gamers don't compromise.
I'm not calling them gamers. I'm calling them human beings. Because you're all beautiful human beings. The thing is, they're continuing to develop Windows 11, right? They're continuing to bring out new features and stuff. But at a certain point, they're going to have to start carving those things out for Windows 12. And when you think about like why Microsoft needs to bring out a full new version of Windows, it's for major structural change, right? Not just like, they updated Edge or whatever, but like for core functions of the operating system, brand new features, for huge security overhauls and whatnot. Again, I think I speak for the audience in a lot of ways that Windows 11, while it is a reasonable success, doesn't have the best reputation, largely because so many people have computers which cannot properly run Windows 11, and I think that's upset a lot of people and kind of turned them off in the same way that Windows 8 did because it was not good.
There's a game I want to play with you.
Okay.
In your imagination, I want you.
Okay. All
right.
Imagining.
We don't even
imagining.
don't even need notes. I want you to imagine.
Okay.
Give me 5 features that are brand new.
Okay.
That have never been before seen.
Automatic hunger detection that automatically loads up Domino's. Vista.
In your wildest imagination.
Yeah, I want them to make
the
Vista
new
good.
feature for Windows 12.
Arrow. I meant Windows Arrow.
It's just Windows Vista. The point of this exercise is more, we have so many features.
Oh, so we're
and
just
computers
done.
are so good. I think we're all on board with Windows 10 being the last version of Windows. You say like all these big changes are for security purposes.
How about
and,
they
like,
make File Explorer not trash?
But yeah, but like, is that
tags.
is that a new feature? Is giving back something that has existed for decades a feature? I'm gonna talk about Apple for a second in this whole thing. Got my here. All right. Have you been following Twitter with the whole dumb percentage bar?
Yes.
For the battery.
iOS 16, there's the latest beta adds for the first time in like
6 years, whatever.
Yeah.
People have lost their mind. Like, oh my God, thank you, Apple, for giving us this feature to see percentage. It existed for years.
Yeah.
My point is, like, do you think that putting in like a new feature of Windows 11 is to give tabs back or bring back 3D pinball? Do you think that these are actually features that warrant an entirely new operating system that now requires you to buy new hardware, which is what's happening with 11?
Let me simplify this. Windows XP, the Bliss background, one of the most iconic backgrounds of any computer ever. They took that away. You can't load that up anymore, and it is physically impossible to ever change it yourself. Imagine Windows 12, they bring that back. Is that not going to be the #1 new feature? You press one button, you're going to be super excited.
But like,
Windows alternates from good, bad. Right?
My point is, like, why do we need to imagine it's going to be good or bad? Because 10 was good.
And 11 was sus.
But like
12 will be good.
But why is 11 worse than 10? Windows 10 should have just been
Windows X.
It should have just been Windows at that point. And like, so the fact that they moved away from this thing, like, why did they do it? Because what they're doing is probably breaking things as they do like these major architectural upgrades, which, don't get me wrong, need to happen. Because one, I mean, for security reasons, it's just super outdated. Like, these do need to happen. But it's happening in a way that's making the operating system worse. And then we got to talk about, like, do we think 12 is going to be better? Do we think 11 is going to be improved or whatever?
Well, I mean, I assume 11 is going to get some future updates over the next couple of years, right? But I would also assume that by that same token, Microsoft are in their sort of 5-10 year planning or whatever on the Windows side. They're figuring out what features they think will make it 11, what they want to save for 12, what are easier, simpler things versus what are these huge architectural changes that they need to legitimately spend years building and testing. Remember, Windows 11, when it came out, was a bit of a surprise because really Windows 11 was already kind of like there in the background. It was mostly like UI stuff that they had like flipped the switch on, but a lot of what it took to make Windows 11, they were openly basically building in the background and no one really realized it. And then go, by the way, 11.
Again, I don't find tabs in Finder
I do actually. That's
to be
really
a feature. When they say Windows 11, improve some ray tracing features.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a feature.
Sure, fair.
And that's a reason to upgrade.
Okay.
Right now, I don't think they have enough of those types of features to be pushing people into another.
Well, they're going to spend the next 2 years developing the hot newness of the Windows XP background in 4K.
And then
I'll
point,
upgrade to Windows 12.
If people are going to get pissed off about Apple keeping iMessage, what do you think, like, if Microsoft actually said, like, oh yeah, in order to get this exclusive background, you have to upgrade to Windows 11.
I'm not saying they're actually going to do it. I'm just saying, like, they take old features, they bring it back, they kind of listen to people's advice on, like, oh, I wish it had this, or oh, I wish I had tabs or whatever. They bake that in, and that's the reason why you upgrade to Windows 12.
Hardware is going to change, and eventually the old system is not like the new as they upgrade the architecture, it's not gonna be able to work on older systems. I get that. We have very little to support that it's gonna take, like, that happens every 3 years. Because how many workarounds
on the flip side,
Windows
is the slowest. No, but think about it. Windows, even a 3 year life cycle or a lifespan on each OS, is the slowest out of anything. There's a new version of Android every year, new version of iOS every year, new version of macOS every year. So the fact that Microsoft are going from nebulously a 5 or 6-year cycle to a 3-year cycle in some ways is reasonable, but the lines are very blurry because their 3-year cycle, they're still adding features every few months, whatever. We've
talked about this with Apple and Android and all them. It's not necessary because we say like
they got
do
cell phones.
Well, they do it every year, and then half the features that they announce for the thing are delayed, and they come out 9 months after the OS comes out, and then it's kind of just like quietly added in, and they're like, while they're still talking about the next one.
Yeah.
We're not saying that Microsoft's the only one doing that. Well, at least I'm not saying that Microsoft's the only one who's doing this. Yeah. I'm saying Microsoft is the most egregious for this one right now because they're the one who said, a few years ago, this is the last version of Windows.
Well, they never really said. They hinted at. They insinuated this is the Windows that you're gonna want to be on.
Apple hasn't hinted at
time.
this is. They said it's gonna be the last version of Mac OS X 10. Android's not saying this is the last Android system.
True, that is a good point.
That's my point when we're comparing those. It's definitely not apples to apples or apples to Android.
God, and what a great reason to subscribe for Matt's witty humor. I guess a way to think about this, and actually it's something I've never really thought about, but does any of this matter? At this point, are all of the major operating systems sort of mature enough to the point where we're not going to get those huge, massive rewrites and rebuilds, or maybe every 10 years or something, but whether they call it a 0.1 update, whether they call it a service pack, or whether they call it a full version update, macOS, Windows, Android, iOS are all just updating every few months or a year or whatever, and it just happens how they want to package it and how they want to market it into actually driving you into going to buy a new computer or a new phone or a tablet or what have you. So really, the name of it, unless they're doing some huge core architectural change, which is probably going to be pretty rare these days, is almost in some ways irrelevant.
Yep.
Except that when they keep bringing out new versions of Windows, they keep having problems and are worse in some ways and don't let you upgrade and spy on you. But other than that, it's all the same. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. Let us know in the comments what you think is an old feature that shouldn't have gone away to begin with. Smell detection.
Hunger automatic delivery of pizza.
Like, subscribe, follow, and order Austin a pizza.